Hello, Mahopac. This is your Superintendent, Christine Tona, and welcome to our podcast of Budget Bites. In this episode, we have Alyssa Murray, our Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Operations, joining us, and we're going to talk about the 24-25 budget. Give us a little overview. Welcome, Alyssa.
Thank you, Ms. Tona. I'm happy to be here. So just to go over the budget, the proposed budget for 24-25 is $142,443,564. The budget increase is a 3.25%, and the proposed tax levy is $96,694,787, with a tax levy increase of 1.98%.
So 1.98%, that's less than 2%, which is good. So was that the highest that we were able to levy, or could we have gone higher than that?
So actually we could have went higher. The highest we could have went this year was 2.59%, and that's based off the tax levy calculation. That's based on certain factors given to us by the state, by Real Office of Property Taxes, and also our capital exclusion, which is our debt service from our capital project.
Okay, so I know when we first started the budget process, I think we were at about 2.15% tax levy increase, and then the board had the conversations, and ultimately the board decided on that 1.98%. So we hope that that's a great balance between offering everything we can for the students and being mindful of our community.
Yep, absolutely. So when we had that discussion, we did not cut any expenditures from that percentage. It's strictly revenue based, meaning that we're just taking a couple more dollars from our appropriated fund balance, which is like our savings account. But again, doesn't cut any program, doesn't cut anything that was originally put into the budget that we've been proposing since early February.
All right, good. So what does this mean for the average homeowner with an assessed value property of approximately $500,000?
So for the estimated tax levy impact for a homeowner, for Town of Carmel, it would be $201.02 for an annual change and a monthly change of $16.75. And for Town of Putnam Valley, it would be $194.27 annual change and a monthly change of $16.19. And this is based off of the 2023 town's assessment, meaning that until we have the final assessment in August, those rates are an estimate. So it could go up, it could go down, but at this point, this is the information we have, and this does not include the newly adopted exemptions for veterans, senior citizens, persons with disabilities, and volunteers.
Right, so if anyone that's listening fits into any of those categories or knows someone, they should go to the Town of Carmel or the Town of Putnam Valley and provide their information, because that would change their assessed value that they're taxed on. So if someone, let's say a senior citizen, has an assessed home value of $500,000, if their income is less than $50,000 a year, instead of being taxed at $500,000, they would be taxed at $250,000, which is a huge impact.
Correct. So what I was saying was the annual changes are for people that do not qualify for any exemptions. So if you do qualify for any exemptions, this would decrease.
Okay. All right, and then I know that on the ballot this year, it's not just voting on the budget itself, yes or no. We have two other propositions.
Yes, so the second proposition, which should be a familiar one because it's been on the ballot for the past few years, is the transportation bus proposition. So we will be purchasing 5 65-passenger buses and 4 30-passenger buses for an estimated total of $1.2 million. And that's to continue our bus replacement plan that we've had in place for the past few years. To date, we've replaced 47 buses, and on average, we're replacing buses that have 80,000 miles on them and 10 years of service. So we're right in the middle of that plan, and the next few years you'll continue to see this. And all the buses that we are purchasing this year do all have air conditioning.
Right, and it makes sense because we don't want to be in a position down the road where we need to replace 100 buses all at the same time. So this spreads it out and just stabilizes the cost for us. And what's the third proposition on the budget?
The third proposition on the ballot this year will be the Capital Reserve Fund proposition. We're establishing it because we currently have a reserve fund currently in our reserves that is about over $2 million. And at this point, we cannot access those funds because it is an expired reserve. So in order to unlock those funds, we need to establish a capital reserve fund. It is no cost to the taxpayers because we already have those funds saved. But in order to use them down the road, we need to establish it. So one of the things that we would use with that money down the road is we have a building condition survey coming up, which is when the architect goes through all of our buildings and itemizes by priority and cost what we need to fix, which is inclusive of all the district bathrooms. And we could use this money towards that down the road, no cost to the taxpayer. And if we would like to, in the next few years, it can go up to $5 million.
Right, and it's a smart use of funding, that especially the fact that it exists and we can't access it. So we just need the community to come out and vote, and that will allow us to re-access that reserve fund. So we know that the budget election, the budget vote and the trustee election is on May 21st from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Here at Mahopac High School in the gym. But we also have the opportunity, if anyone's going to be out of town, they could pick up an absentee ballot. And then there's something new this year that the state's allowing called early mail voting. And all of that information is on the district website, on the district clerk's page. And as long as absentee ballots or early mail voting ballots are received by the district clerk by 5 p.m. on May 21st, that's another way that the community can cast their vote. May 21st, Tuesday, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at Mahopac High School. Thank you, Alyssa, for joining us on the podcast. Thank you for all of your work and your first budget here in Mahopac. And everyone come out and vote. Thanks.
Thank you.